All right, you are watching CBS LA at 6 p.m. and all eyes are on the ocean off the San Diego coast where the Artemis 2 splashed down on time at 5:07 p.m. carrying the 4 astronauts after a 10-day journey around the moon and back to Earth safely. They are in the process of being recovered right now. The ships that you see there are circling and they have made way. The hatch is open and we're waiting to see them be recovered from the capsule. They will be put on helicopters and then taken to the USS naval ship John P. Murtha, which is standing by, where the astronauts will be checked medically before actually going to the Space Center. But right now we are watching the recovery, and we've been listening to officials from NASA give us some background and actually describing what we're looking at right now.
Onto the raft, have a moment or two to get their land legs back before they're hoisted into 2 hovering Navy helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. All of Integrity's systems operated flawlessly throughout the course of the approach to the Earth, the entry into the Earth's atmosphere, and all of the key milestones that followed in this high-speed return to Earth for Integrity, a mission that spanned more than 694,000 miles from the vehicle's launch from the Kennedy Space Center atop the Space Launch System back on April 1st.
As you can see, this is such a precise operation here. Just when we think, well, all right, they're ready to come off. No, it still takes quite a bit more time. But this all has to happen within a 2-hour window from what I've read, from the start of 5:07 when it splashed down. So we're an hour.
Yeah.
An hour in.
And, you know, sunset's right around 7:30 or so. So they're definitely going to want to get this finished and off the water before then. Thankfully, though, you know, look, I mean, the swells are pretty, you know, acceptable. It's not, there's no intense weather that's going on out there or anything like that. So very good news for them as they do that. You've got the helicopters that are able to fly in perfect visibility. Everything that this was planned here is coming together exactly how they wanted it, which is obviously the great news. And, you know, look, they're going to take their time. They want to make sure everything gets done correctly. No matter how excited or anxious those astronauts may be to get off of there, everything is going exactly how it was planned. And the planning of all of this is what allowed the capsule to come back into Earth's orbit and come back into the atmosphere and land safely as it did. So they, you know, were successful in that. They want to be successful at this. So yes, it's taking you know, extended period of time, but that's exactly what they wanted. And I think we're looking on that first boat, Pat, closest to us.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the last time
yes, so that means
that the Apollo program saw a splashdown in the Pacific was Apollo 17 back on December 19th, 1972.
And they're putting something in the water there coming off of that boat. So we'll see. I think that may be end up being the, what they call that front porch type thing.
We have reenacted that with the arrival of Integrity's astronauts as they flew around the moon in that historic lunar flyby that began with a trans-lunar injection burn that took them out of Earth orbit following 24 hours of a high Earth orbit trajectory. The high Earth orbit trajectory enabled flight controllers here to have
again, this is so fascinating to watch actually what they're doing, because we know that they're going to be transported by helicopter to the USS John Murtha. So we're going to watch all of this take place right before our eyes in the Pacific Ocean. We see them with those lines or the equipment that they need for them to hold on to, the divers there.
Yeah.
To stay afloat while reaching this capsule. It's very interesting.
And all the while, you
to see what they're doing. We can see the divers there.
Yeah, right, swimming up to it, or they've got that. I can't tell exactly what
like
it is.
Like a rope or something.
Yeah, or plastic or something in their hand. Yeah. It's funny too, to you know, think that the people sitting inside that capsule have been in space for the last 10 days and have gone the furthest any human ever has in our solar system across the other side of the moon. And now they're just kind of sitting in the ocean off of our coast right now, waiting to be kind of retrieved here.
I would imagine that they're happy about that. After watching those pictures of them coming back the atmosphere with that fuel burn, and they were able to see it because they could see it right out the window of their capsule. You know, you have to have the kind of mindset that where you don't panic,
right,
or have fear or get paranoid, which we've learned that they train extensively for that. Even though this is a historic mission, first-time mission for them, you know, that goes way above, right? I should say you and I,
yeah,
Mike.
yeah, absolutely.
Juan, all of us actually.
Yeah.
It's something that you know, most of mankind will never do.
Or experience or any of that. I mean, and you know, I'm sure everyone wants to see them come out and all of that, but you know, for them, the hard part's over. They made it back through the atmosphere. They landed in the ocean successfully, and now they're just waiting for the kind of technicalities of getting out of it. And I can see, for a second, I thought I saw somebody poking their head out of the hatch there where that door was. Such incredible pictures that NASA is able to provide to us from the. They have a fixed wing up there as well as a helicopter. And I don't know if the booth, if you have a second, if we can put my computer in an inset, I just kind of want to give people some perspective of where this is happening off of our coast. It's not that far. I mean, it's out there. It's in the water, but you know, it's still off of our coast. It's just south of San Diego County, as I mentioned. It had crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. So we are, if you were to draw a line back to land, you would be looking at the U.S.-Mexico border, just right about Rosarito, basically, is where this is all going on. So the U.S. Navy down there, though, we see the hatch is open there, Pat, as maybe you see somebody poke their head out at some point.
That would be wonderful. And you know, let's talk about the weather conditions, because this was supposed to launch before, but they had to wait a while for all the conditions to be right. The wind, whether it would be raining or not. So from the get-go, this has been such a success. And we want to bring in our Danny Roberti now, because the weather looks absolutely pleasing right now, Danny.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I mean, this really was a perfect afternoon for a great splashdown. And there are requirements that come into something like this happening safely, a safe recovery. Some of those requirements were wave heights less than 6 feet, winds less than 28 miles per hour. That's what we're seeing out there today. We had winds right around 10 miles per hour. That was all good news.
The erection of the inflatable life raft.
And you can also see we have clear skies out there as well, Pat and Ruta Bay. So that was also a huge help, being able to have that sunshine, good visibility as well. And I apologize, I don't know if I should keep talking or if we want to listen right now.
Megan Cruz conducted on the USS John P. Murtha with Navy diver First Class David McMahon that explains how this process is unfolding.
Okay, Davey, so you and some of your team, one last look over of the stabilization collar, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so what is this stabilization collar?
This is what's going to stabilize the capsule out there in the ocean. We don't know how good the weather or the waves will be that day, so this will help prevent any unnecessary occurrences from happening, stabilizing the capsule and the astronauts inside.
So basically this is a float that will go around Orion. I'm assuming that what they're doing right now, these are the lines that will attach the collar onto Orion?
That is correct.
And so what are they doing here?
So we've got the lower line that will secure the inflation device before we inflate it. That gives us the go-ahead that it's secure in its space, and then we'll inflate it. And then once that is done, we'll undo all the carabiners and get this orange line on top tied in the same fashion. And then this will be secured to the capsule, and the astronauts can safely take their first steps out of the capsule onto the front porch.
Okay, and how long will it take them to set up the stabilization collar?
We should definitely be able to handle this in under 10 minutes.
Okay, wow. And then you just mentioned the front porch. So basically, after they set up the stabilization collar, then they set up what's called the front porch here.
That's correct.
Okay, and what's the front porch?
Front porch is basically a bigger waiting room for the astronauts to sit in.
Well, we know there's been so much excitement for the Artemis splashdown. We have reporters in the area. Our Michelle Gili is watching in San Diego, and Brittany Irma, you're in Downey. What's going on?
That's right, Pat, and what a miraculous moment we were able to witness. And you can see right here in Downey, people are still taking it in. Take a look. You can see people watching the screen. Phones are out. They really want to capture and soak in this moment, because right before our eyes, the Artemis 2 crew has safely returned to Earth. And I want to show you the moment the splashdown happened. Take a look.
So the medical team that was inside. And then what happens here?
People of all ages were glued to the big screen as they watched the capsule hit the water. The landing journey was a stressful one as people waited patiently for the astronauts to make it back to Earth safely. Space enthusiasts are now sitting in gratitude, knowing they witnessed the end of a journey that pushed human space exploration even further.
So there were two thoughts in my head. Oh my gosh, did that really just happen? And OMG, that happened!
Overwhelmed, excited to see history, and for my son to see history. I mean, it's inspiring.
Once again, the recovery operation.
And back out here live, people are still taking in the moment. Again, eyes glued to the screen. This guy has two phones, really wanting to capture and record everything that's going on here. And when this wraps up at 7 tonight, if you want to come here to the Columbia Memorial Space Center, you can bring your telescope and enjoy everything science. So the festivities not ending anytime soon tonight. Live in Downey, Brittany Ehrman, CBS LA.
That's so wonderful, Brittany, and we know people will be there, I'm sure, until this mission, and I say mission, to retrieve the astronauts off of the capsule is complete. It's just been exciting to watch every single moment of this. But, you know, even closer to the action is our Michelle Geely. She's at a Splashdown watch party in San Diego. And Michelle, you know, I just want to say this personally. Yeah, I was around when the first moonwalk happened, what, 50 years ago, as a kid, being so excited watching that in black and white pictures. But for this, to have the watch parties, people on their phones being able to access, it's just been incredible.
It really has, Pat, and it's incredible to think how close we are right here at the Air and Space Museum to the astronauts bobbing out there in the Pacific. That just gives me chills. Now, Splashdown, as you pointed out, happened about an hour ago, yet take a look at the crowd here. No one is going anywhere. No one is going to give up their seat here at the Air and Space Museum, and there is a line with hundreds more space enthusiasts stretched out of the front door of this place, still waiting to come inside, despite the fact that the astronauts are already back here on Earth. Spectators are glued to the big screen and NASA's images of the capsule bobbing in the ocean. Every so often, cheers erupt from these folks here. Lots of photos and videos are taken documenting history. And as the spacecraft hit the Pacific, the crowd chanted, USA, USA. The mood is giddy. It is electric.
This was amazing. We just completed a new achievement. Like, we just completed a checkpoint.
And it was really cool, like, seeing it actually live and what the process is like.
It is absolutely wild. Like, I really want to, like, see them up close. Of course, like, it's really difficult to do so. So having to see them is just fantastic.
And Pat, it feels like no one wants to leave this museum. As Brittany was pointing out, telescopes may be coming out soon where she is in Downey. I feel like we might be doing some stargazing in a few hours because there are kids here in their space jammies. Nobody really wants to leave. That's the latest live in San Diego. I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
Yeah, Michelle, everybody wants to witness history. That, of course, is there. And around the world, I can imagine. But certainly for us here, it's such a special coverage for us because we do have Native Son, the pilot, actually, of that ship who was now waiting to be retrieved and taken to be checked out like the other 3 astronauts on board with him. But it has been a journey, I would say, even from the very beginning. We were a little concerned about it because the heat shield on the capsule had a flaw design. So they had to get that repaired to make sure that it was ready to go. So the fact that they were able to do this and now land safely back in the Pacific Ocean is pretty remarkable.
So that the crew can take 2 steps and they will be in the front porch.
Uh-oh. It looks like someone is coming out of that hatch.
Yeah.
Does it look like that to you?
Yeah, it does. And I'm listening to Pat, some of the audio while we were talking to Michelle and Brittany. It sounds like they're having trouble with getting the front porch set up. The currents, apparently, I'm listening to the audio, are causing a little bit of an issue. They do have 2 of them. So if the first one had a malfunction or whatever, they've got a second one that they can set up. And it looks like that might be what they're doing right now. If you see it, you can almost see it wrapped around the capsule now. So hopefully once they get it finished wrapped up, they'll be able to inflate it. And then be able to have those people step out. But if you look right at the bottom of the hatch, you can see they've got it almost wrapped the entirety around the capsule. Apparently the first one they had issues with.
Well, Danny could talk to us a little bit about the currents. Mike, Danny?
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Pat. Hi, Mike. Hi, Ruta Bay. You know, really, this was an ideal situation today. And even right now, we're not looking at a whole lot of wind out there. So there are requirements that come with this safe recovery. You can see outside, we've got good visibility. There were concerns today because of this storm getting closer to us, but we're not seeing any clouds out there. There were partly cloudy skies out there earlier today, and that's the case right now. So conditions were looking great for the splashdown, and it's still looking good right now. We have wave height just around 4 feet, and that's also a concern when we're talking about splashdown. We want to keep that under 6 feet, which is what we saw earlier during splashdown and what we're seeing right now. And also with the wind, that's the other thing. You want to keep those winds under 28 miles per hour. Right now, we're looking at winds right around 10 miles per hour out there right off the coast of San Diego. And that's exactly what we want in this situation. So it's kind of a gentle day off of the Pacific. Even though we have this storm that's incoming, everything has stayed far enough away. All of that rain has stayed at least 35 miles away. It's all across Central California and Northern California. So over into San Diego and right off the coast, we've got the sunshine. We've got clear skies right now, and we've got all of those perfect conditions for this situation, for this successful splashdown that we saw this afternoon. And that's what we continue to see right now. Things are quiet out there, and that's really what we want.
And we want this information too, Danny. We just heard the medical officer who was inside the capsule said the astronauts are good to go.
Yes.
They're good to come out and be flown to the Murtha, which is waiting, standing by, where they will be checked out further medically. But they are ready to go, and that is a very, very good sign that they are not just safe and sound, but who knows, Mike? They may be able to walk off. Sometimes they're not able to, but they may be able to walk off the capsule.
Yeah, hopefully. And Pat, I want to show you. We're going to play that NASA feedback just a little bit on my computer, Mike, when you're ready. We'll show you what it looks like when it's fully expanded with this front porch, the stabilizer that they're looking at. You see, I'm kind of playing it back and forth, but it's this big on the right side of your screen there. It's this big kind of air mechanism here that they blow up, and you can see it's really stable. You can walk on it. Play this forward a little bit more, but that's what it looks like. So that's what they're trying to set up right now, and that's where they'll be standing once this is all blown up. They can be able to come out here kind of on the side of it and get a good look at it. And that's what you see wrapped around it right now. It is not inflated yet. You see the divers there in the water trying to do that. And it looks like it goes actually underneath the capsule. So it doesn't appear that it's something that they just wrap around it. They actually have to get the whole thing underneath of it, and it sits in the capsule, and that is what helps stabilize it.
So that's what we're looking at.
That's
then.
what we're looking at.
The front porch not inflated yet.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, so they're getting it. It looks like, you see the divers there. It looks like they may be trying to get it under the capsule to get it to the other side so they can get it in place and then inflate it. And they have to, again, we've talked about this, Pat, but they have the 2-hour window to get this done. So they've got some time on their hands.
But that's very interesting.
Yeah.
We're thinking where is that front porch?
Yeah.
like it's just going to be driven up or
right.
placed by boat or something. But the fact that it has to be inflated, that presents a different story. But as you mentioned, now it seems to be underneath, but it has to certainly be precise so that entire capsule can fit.
Sits in it, yep. And that's what will help stabilize our Artemis in the water as well as allow them to step out on it and be able to then be picked up in the boats and then eventually to the helicopters. And I want to show, while we have this opportunity, Mike, if you can show my computer one more time, because I want to give you kind of the context of where we're at here in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, right off the coast. Like I said, it is just kind of south of San Diego. If we're able to come back to my computer, there we go. I can show you. Thanks, Mike. Where we're at. So this red box is the flight restriction that I was telling you about, where they're not allowing any other aircraft to kind of come in or out of. So that's the safe zone that they have got set up for this. And then what you're looking at right here, these are all of the aircraft that are supporting this. So you've got this one right here. That's actually one of the ones that is providing us the camera video here. And then Imagery 21. That's another camera, Black Hawk, that's giving us these looks. And then you have Recovery 11 and Recovery 12. Those are actually the two Black Hawks that are going to be picking up the astronauts astronauts once they are out of the capsule. And yeah, when you look, you see right here, I mean, this is the U.S.-Mexico border, and we are south of that in this area right here. So, you know, originally it was off the coast of San Diego. Originally there was some flight restriction areas up here as well. But once they got everything all figured out and settled, it is actually south of the border. Rosarito is right here. This is Tijuana. So it is south of that. This is a Department of Homeland Security plane that is up there as well. So that kind of gives you the lay of the land of where we're at here as we continue to watch them get this front porch. And look, I think it's starting, I can't tell if it's starting to inflate a little bit there, Pat.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more
Certainly
prominent
more
out of the
than
water.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are working hard, as you can see, around the side of the capsule on the left side there to make sure that it's fitted properly and blown up so they can walk out on that thing and get their sea legs before they're transported from by the helicopters to the ship. We also noted that, of course, everything had to be clear of debris for them to actually get this in place.
And we even heard at the beginning the capsule itself had to be clear of toxins before they could open the hatch and before somebody could come up. So, so many different checks and balances that you don't necessarily think about. I mean, it's such a complicated undertaking that they're doing here, and they're doing it so well. They've got contingency plans for everything. They're ready for anything that may happen here. And again, the hard part's done. They're back on in the water. They're back on Earth, and they're just getting some of this logistical stuff set up so they can get them out of there.
Now, Mike, to the left there, that looks like another. Is it another piece of the front porch?
I think that is I think that's the actual front porch. So you've got the ring around it that I think is part of the stabilizer, and then that looks like the actual front porch where they can come out and step on and sit there or wait there for their ride, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, wait for the ride.
To be picked up. But yeah, that's what that looks like. So they got the front porch blown up. They've got the stabilizer ring around it. And then once the stabilizer ring is more set up, which it looks like they're getting really close. Look at that. It looks almost fully blown up at this point. And then where there's two divers there on the left, I'm wondering if that's where the front porch is going to end up or where they're going to put it. But they've got, looks like that blown up as well. There's one of the Blackhawks. There's the front porch on your right. And everything's kind of starting to come into place now here, which is great news, of course.
Oh, it certainly is. So that should be any moment now. Boy, once they got that inflated.
Yeah.
It didn't take very long.
Yeah. Yeah, once they got it situated, I mean, and you got to imagine that's probably not an easy task to try to, get divers underneath of a space capsule to be able to just perfectly position that ring to stabilize that capsule so that they can get the astronauts out.
And of course, we're looking at those airbags inflated on the top of that capsule to keep it upright in the water. It's just, it still looks small from where we are, but just imagine just how huge that has to be. Up close.
Yeah, how huge it has to be, and just what a feat for humanity it is that thing was just barreling through our atmosphere, at thousands of miles an hour, and is still sitting there upright, just hanging on to our astronauts for us, waiting to get them out.
And that should be very shortly here, because they have more things that are in motion, that are set up as they get closer and closer. We have heard through some reporting, of course, that the astronauts are all just fine.
Right. They did. It looked like as soon as they opened that hatch, they did pop somebody in there, just get everybody checked out. You heard earlier there is one support member for every astronaut that is on board there. So, everyone's got their own person that they can get checked out with and make sure that everything's okay. And as you mentioned, Pat, we did hear that everything was good when they got back down here in the water and they were able to get inside. So.
And 2 per helicopter.
Yep, 2 per helicopter. There's one of them. Yeah.
There were 3. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. One looks at it's the call sign for the other one is imagery. So I think the other one is the one that's providing. There's 2 feeds coming in from the military on this. One is a fixed wing plane, and I think the one that just went through may have been the imagery plane. That's also providing us pictures. And it looks like we should be. I'm listening to the feed, Pat. We should be seeing the astronauts come out soon, if that's.
It looks like it's right up against the door.
Yeah. And I can't tell if that's them coming out already. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell if that's somebody coming out either.
So once the crew get out of Orion.
But it looks like someone is standing.
Stretch their legs a little bit on this front porch, get some fresh air. And enjoy this beautiful day here on their home planet.
We've got 4 helicopters, astronauts 2 and 2.
Yeah. I think she just said the front porch is successfully
2 on each.
It appears teams
Oh,
now are
2 on each
about
helicopter?
to connect the front porch to the stabilization collar.
As they're connecting
And
that
at
front
that
porch,
point,
Pat,
when
look at
both are
that
secure, we
that
should
capsule
soon
and just
see astronauts
everything that's on the side of it, and just how remarkable that
come
looks
out of
too.
Orion.
And to note that it's going to be flown itself to recover data that it has. We see more movement. It seems to be attached. I don't want to confirm that, though. It looks like it is, but...
Yeah.
Of course, it is very important for our recovery teams leading the mission to have all the views that you're seeing as well.
No, they're describing, yes, everything has to
Again,
be
listening to their communication
in place.
loop
Precise.
here on the ship.
Yeah.
Very quiet, which is a good thing. It means things are going pretty nominally, meaning as expected.
That's fantastic. We just heard her say things are going as expected. And that's somebody, what, 3,000 yards away?
Yeah, she's on the recovery boat.
Well, this is certainly not your average search and rescue or urban recovery mission here.
Not your average front off the coast.
No.
So cool to see, though.
Again, all this activity happening just 3,000 yards away from the ship. So that means this will be a very quick flight back on the helicopters for the crew. 2-3 minutes, and then they'll be back here on the ship.
I know. I wonder when they can see their families. I know that's got to be so very, very important to them.
A thumbs up.
Uh-oh, thumbs up.
From one of the personnel on the front porch. It looks like they are now getting ready to deploy what they call the Air Rescue Vest, ARV. And so this is the harness that each crew member will get into in order to be hoisted into the helicopters. Again, those helicopters hovering just about 40 feet above the front porch when they're ready.
Can you imagine how loud that's got to be?
To pick up each crew member.
But I'm glad she explained that.
Yeah.
So all of that has to take place, and that's not a, you know, when you think about how small it was, it seemed to be when they were up in space and we saw the pictures. So to even do all of that here, get them harnessed and ready to go.
And I wonder if they'll hoist, you know, one person at a time. Or, yeah. I mean, if they'll bring one out, hoist them, bring another out, hoist them. Or if
it's 2 per helicopter, right?
Right, yeah, so maybe they'll bring the first 2 out first and then get the other 2. So cool to see how all this works, though.
This is a better picture.
Yeah.
You can imagine how we think it's cool and exciting, how they actually feel.
Yeah, right. To actually be there and be in that capsule.
And it also will be interesting to see what they have recovered from their mission, what they've been able to find out, just what kind of advancement that will, you know, happen to for the United States, for our country.
Yeah.
And what new inroads they have made technically and I understand medically.
This is Mission Control Houston. Behind me, a fairly raucous scene as hundreds of flight controllers have poured into the flight control room here. This is reminiscent of the scene after the final shuttle mission of STS-135, although that was the end of a program. This is only the beginning of a program with the textbook splashdown of integrity and its 4 astronauts. We're standing by for the crew to be extracted from the spacecraft. Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling invited all of these flight controllers who have contributed to this mission to enter the flight control room to have an opportunity to receive well wishes and to share the mutual glow that exists in the wake of a textbook mission for integrity on the front screen here in Mission Control. A sign that says, "Welcome home, Integrity, taking humanity back to the moon, going further, and returning safely to Earth." So all of that jubilation, part of the post-splashdown activities, even as we await the crew being extracted from the vehicle to be hoisted onto Navy helicopters for the trip back to the USS John P. Murtha.
Well, ever so close now to see the astronauts getting off the capsule, being placed in harnesses and hoisted on the helicopters and being taken to the Navy ship, the John Murtha, which is out there in the Pacific Ocean, waiting to welcome them. And of course, they will be checked out medically before anything else happens. Almost 10 days in space. Remember, April 1st, that's when they launched.
Yeah. And that Mission Control, the scene in there, and
once again here in Mission Control.
Look at that. Look at all those
view
people.
of the Artemis control room, known as the White Flight Control Room. This is the old shuttle flight control room, and now is the home of Artemis missions to the moon and beyond. Once again, quite a few flight controllers were invited in by Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling to share in the jubilation following the successful splashdown of Integrity. That splashdown occurring an hour and 22 minutes ago, as we stand by for the completion of the extraction of the crew, and ultimately they're hoisting onto Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the USS John P. Murtha. Splashdown occurred at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. I had an opportunity to talk to the head of Flight Dynamics, Jeff Birch, a moment or two ago. He said the trajectory of Integrity coming through the Earth's atmosphere was so precise, they've never seen anything line up on a ground track like today's entry by Integrity for its splashdown southwest of San Diego.
So this has been successful in more ways than one.
Precisely successful, which, you always hold your breath when things like this happen, and you always hope for the best, and it just sounds like everything just went absolutely as perfect as it could have, when this all happened and when they came back in, the flight path, the
and the initial...
Uh-oh.
Oh,
you can hear it.
You can see their spacesuits. And ladies and gentlemen, we are watching the Artemis 2 astronauts making their way from the capsule.
In the flight control room, the first crew member is out of Integrity. Jubilation here in the flight control room. The first crew member is out of Integrity.
Can't tell who it is. Oh, there's another one.
All right, are we counting two?
Yeah, there's two
right
off
now,
on
Mike?
Yeah, there's two. One sitting on the left.
One sitting down and the other?
And the other just walked off the capsule. It looks like they maybe putting his harness on that they were talking about to lift him.
Yeah, we know that they will go two at a time.
Yeah.
To a chopper. Per chopper, I should say. And then taken to the Navy ship, the Murtha.
Two crew members out, two to go.
Got to get their Earth legs.
Yes, and don't know exactly who the astronauts are right now. I haven't heard their names being called.
It's a little bit hard to see. I was hoping to be able to get a look at it.
But we're waiting for the next two.
We're about 1 hour from sunset out in the Pacific. Everything continues to go well. Integrity's systems function perfectly during its entry back to Earth. And Reed Wiseman, the commander, who will be last out of the vehicle, reported that all the crew members were feeling very well.
Well, that's great news. And of course, our very own Victor Glover is the pilot of the Integrity. So we're certainly waiting for him to come out, as well as Christine Koch and Jeremy Hansen.
There's the third one.
Crew member number 3 now out.
I'm glad we could welcome him with a nice sea breeze and some California sun.
Yes, and to come home to that applause and jubilation. That's got to do so much for them, considering just how they were during this entire trip, the entire journey. They always seemed to be upbeat. Loved how they had their music going, they were exercising.
Such a passion for what they do.
Yes. Eating healthy.
Yep. All right, I see the 1, 2, 3, and
we're waiting for Reed Wiseman.
Yep.
There's a little information. We understand that Victor Glover's parents are in Colorado and at an event, and the hotel where they were staying set up a special watch for them so they could witness all of this. I can just imagine how they feel.
And we now have Reed Wiseman out of the vehicle. All 4 crew members now out of Integrity.
There we go.
Well, we now know that all 4 are out safely.
Cheers.
You wonder, Mike, when we will hear from them, when they'll be able to give us an assessment of everything they witnessed and this day, this moment that they landed safely.
Once
and
again, all 4 crew members
it's got to be
got up the Integrity.
Yeah, and it's got to be so overwhelming, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but just to be like as a human and processing everything that just happened to them in the last 10 days.
And just what they saw.
Yeah.
Even hearing them from space describe what they witnessed and to actually see the Earth. I loved how they talked about the description, how it looked to them. And I heard a lot about humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout this entire mission, which says a lot. And I hope that most of us listened and took that in.
Yeah. And them naming the crater Carol after the commander's late wife. And
yes, there was emotional moments.
Yeah, all of that was just so nice to see. There you see, look at that. I'm looking at a different monitor, actually. But I was looking at a very packed mission control in there as well as we continue to look at this. And everyone's on the front porch now, Pat.
They are on the front porch, and we're just waiting for those helicopters, those Blackhawks, at least 2, that will retrieve them 2 by 2 and take them to the Mertha, to the ship.
And they're there, so we'll see. I see them hovering on the radar, so hopefully they're just a couple of moments away from being able to pick them up and get them. And as you heard one of the NASA representatives say, it's a short flight. The ship is only about 3,000 yards away, so we're talking maybe 2-3 minutes to get them from this location back onto the ship.
And you could tell they have the harnesses on.
Yep, you see all 4 of them sitting there on the front porch.
Oh, look, somebody is throwing their hands up. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I saw that on the left, yeah. It's like, come on, I want to go to In-N-Out.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so cool.
This is Mission Control Houston. The mission is over, but the melody lingers on as jubilation continues here in the flight control room. We should be expecting NASA's Associate Administrator, Amit Kshatriya, to be joining us shortly for a short interview while the recovery operations continue out in the Pacific. So we'll stand by for that. And then we'll turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Mertha.
It looks like someone was there making sure the harnesses were fastened, were secure.
Getting them all situated.
Either that or they were giving them a hug.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
It could be either.
Either or both at this point.
Right. Let me give you a hug and check your harness at the same time. Yeah. And then there's the obviously the capsule that they'll recover as well. You already see people up there kind of looking at it, and you got the beacons, the lights that are flashing off the top of it.
That's going to be interesting. Well, they could do that, of course, to put it on a plane and fly it where it needs to be, so they can. I believe Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, I think that's where it'll go. Let me see if I can look that up really quickly too.
That's always fascinating.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for those choppers. And all systems go. Current is, you don't think the wind at this point? No, they were flying in some pretty, those choppers are very, very different.
Yeah, no, these are the military Blackhawks, you know, and I'm looking at the radar. The radar's got them hovering about 100 feet off the water here. So they're down there, they're low. You just saw one, there was one that was going through and passing through one of the shots that we're looking at here. So they're there, yeah, and we can show you my computer. Thanks, Mike. This is the two. So this is Recovery 1 and Recovery 2 right here. And you can see these like really tight orbits that they've been making right over the top of it. This is the imagery ship that's been giving us some of the live pictures that we're looking at. And then there's a plane here that's giving us a different one.
This is Mission Control Houston here in the Artemis Flight Control Room. A number of flight controllers basking in the glory of the successful end of this mission that carried 4 astronauts around the moon on a lunar flyby, and the first test flight of Orion with crew members on board. Splashdown occurring an hour and 32 minutes ago after a flawless descent back into the Earth's atmosphere for the vehicle. Its 4 crew members in good shape, simply enjoying their time right now on the front porch, as it were, the inflatable raft alongside of their Integrity spacecraft. We're expecting Ahmed Shatriya, the NASA Associate Administrator, to join us here momentarily for a brief interview before we turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha, the recovery ship.
You can imagine even how they're feeling after being together for that amount of time and, you know, flying around the moon and then returning back to Earth. This is something they'll have to get reintroduced back on Earth, of course, but I'm sure that won't take long. But you'll always have that memory.
Oh,
and
that
the thought
bond.
Of the bond and just the fact of what you witnessed, what you were part of, what they were able to accomplish.
A feat that only 4 people in the world can say that they did, and did it together. And it's just something that, you know, they'll obviously carry that with them for the rest of their lives, and just the memories and their families and their kids and everyone that gets to see the you know, miraculous thing that they have accomplished here. And it looks like, Pat, they've separated the front porch from the capsule. So you see how it's starting to float away off there to the right. So we'll probably be seeing the pickup, if you will.
The helicopters.
The helicopters come in here pretty soon. They probably wanted to get just a little bit of distance away from the capsule itself, give those Blackhawks a little bit more room to work there and to drop the hoist and bring those people in. There's one of them you see right there. So, you know, we should be, hopefully, now that they're separated from the actual capsule, hopefully we'll see them being hoisted up into the Blackhawks as well soon.
Yep, still have some daylight out there, which is a good thing.
About another, what, 45 minutes or so, I think?
Yeah. 5:07.
Yeah, 5:07 was Splashdown. 2 hours would be 7:07.
Yeah, so everything's pretty much going as planned. They certainly can do this within the 2 hours.
Right.
I remember, I was talking about 50 years ago, but I remember 69 with Neil Armstrong, and that was just incredible. Didn't quite understand what was going on as a kid, but to witness this, that's a big feat. There's no question about that.
Oh yeah. It's just, yeah. It's not a lot of, sometimes there's not a ton of words to describe kind of how, you know, crazy almost this is to watch all of this go down. And talking about, I'm listening to the feed, they're talking about how the control center is kind of a little bit overrun with everyone that's so excited to be in there right now and just want to be in the mission control and be a part of history and watching this all go down. The NASA Associate Administrator is speaking right now. I don't know if we want to listen into that for a second.
Okay, I know this wasn't planned, but Victor Glover's mother's birthday is today.
Oh.
Jeanette Glover, her birthday is today.
What a birthday present.
His father's birthday, Victor Sr., was April 5th, so just a few days ago. But to actually watch their son on this historic mission and to see him, of course, as we have been able to, and then to witness something like this, you couldn't get a better birthday present, right?
Not at all. I wonder if he'll make it for birthday dinner tonight.
Well, they're in Colorado right now.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
right at
but
the
they
festival,
should be
yeah.
celebrating with something very, very special, maybe his favorite meal.
Yeah. That's so cool. I mean, that's what a gift to his mom and even his dad. I mean, he was in space on his birthday, and all of that is it's just so cool as we watch it kind of drift a little bit further away there from the capsule, awaiting the pickup from the Blackhawks that are hovering nearby, waiting for them to make that short journey over back to the ship, where they'll be dropped off. And as Pat, you mentioned, two astronauts per helicopter. We'll attempt to get them up there and get them moved on just off the coast of, we're really off the coast of Mexico. We're south of San Diego County, just south of the U.S.-Mexico border, off the coast in international waters where this is all going on right now. And they look even smaller now on the front porch as it's floating away from.
Oh, they really do. Yeah. You know, and this is a precursor to future space exploration, obviously.
Right.
NASA wants to send another team back in 2028 to land on the moon.
Build a moon base is
and
the
possibly,
ultimate goal.
yes, establish a moon base. How incredible is that?
Yeah.
So for them, that would be Artemis 3.
Yeah, we're excited about this. Imagine how excited we're all going to be when we're watching them build a base on the moon or go back and put feet on the moon, put boots on the ground on the moon again as soon as that happens. So it's so cool to just see all of this happening.
From an American psyche standpoint, the Empire State Building was lit up red, white, and blue tonight. Our coverage was seen on baseball stadiums around the major leagues. How captivating was this experience for the American people, for the world, in fact, as we return to the moon?
You know, I have not been able to watch a lot of the coverage as we've progressed through the mission. I will tell you, just, you know, from my witness in Florida before launch, and then seeing the people's faces here, and then, you know, reading where I can about how things are going. I think this has been a gift to the world from NASA. NASA has given the world a gift, proving to folks all over the place, especially young people, and that to me is what this is really about. Young people, when they see what we can do when we work together, when we have teams that collaborate, that, you know, it doesn't matter how hard the problems are, we can solve them. I'm hopeful that Artemis 2, as folks witness what we were able to do with this incredible crew, this incredible team that we've birthed into the world, scientists and engineers and artists that have been inspired by this. And even if they don't come work in the program, which separately they should come work in the program because Lord knows we need the help, but even if they don't want to come work in the program, hopefully they grow up to recognize they can do amazing things when they work together and contribute to society and be good citizens and really change the way, you know, the challenges that are coming in the world are overcomable if we work together like this.
And one final question. You know, flying to the moon, we did it. We've done it again this past week and a half or so. But the engineering that went behind the design of this mission and the precision, the pinpoint precision of this vehicle entering that entry corridor, it's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is incredible when you think about the energies involved and the uncertainties involved. That you know, when we inserted the vehicle into orbit, it was 99.2% down the middle. When we dropped the vehicle right on top of the fleet here, you know, our guys knew exactly where to go, but the guidance was perfect. You know, and it's interesting. I've got this question a lot over the last few weeks about, you know, we did this before 53 years ago, and you know,
here comes one of the Blackhawks.
I mean, it is a reasonable thing to contemplate, like what's gone on since then. And what I tell you is, you know, when we did Apollo, which again, the more we learn about what they did, the more magical it seems what they were able to accomplish given the technology and the learnings that they had. But when we did Apollo, the architects of Apollo.
This is amazing, Mike.
Yeah.
Now we have that first Black Hawk helicopter going to retrieve 2 of the astronauts. And how precise does this have to be? Look at the water. Look, and he has to make his way over the front porch there.
And, you know, Pat, it's not unlike some of the rescues we see here on Cliffside. That rescuer is on a radio, and he's saying, you know, okay, bring me forward, bring me forward. The trickier part here in the water, though, is their target's also moving.
Yeah.
Because their rotor wash is blowing them around. But there you see
Does he have it?
He does, yeah. They got him right up there. The rotor wash is incredible to look at as it comes off of the water there. So that rescuer is going to get down there, and I call him a rescuer. This is not necessarily that type of rescue, but you know what I mean. Retriever, yeah. And he's going to hook himself up to one of the astronauts using the harness, and they'll go up together, and then they'll come down again. When you see the guy standing there, he's holding the hoist. He's holding the rope's not the right word, but he's holding the line.
A cable.
Cable,
which we have seen in our rescues, so to speak, or our retrievals, so to speak. But this is something, as you say, it's in the Pacific Ocean, and at the same time, he has to make sure that it's steady before they get them connected and ready to be flown.
Yep, and they're just about getting ready to do that. Look, okay, so yep, there's another feed of it, and they've already got him up, and they're pulling him up into the helicopter, and quite the sight there. Look at that. And it's funny because it's, you know, I want to give everybody some perception. You know, it looks like the guy is like being thrown around through the air, but the aircraft that we're looking at, it is also spinning. So when both helicopters are moving or both aircraft are moving at the same time, it gives that idea that this guy is getting thrown around all over the place, but he's not. It's a safe operation as they load him up into the Black Hawk.
Well, considering what they've been through, they probably think this is fun. This is like this is a big thrill ride for them.
This is nothing compared to re-entry. So it looks like, I wasn't sure how they were going to do this. So it looks like they're going to, you know, bring him, or that, I didn't even see which one went up, which astronaut it was, but bring them maybe directly over to the ship one at a time. So
as opposed to 2?
As opposed to 2. So there's the second helicopter. So they're going to do like a shuttle, right? So one has one astronaut, this one's getting the next one, and then the first Black Hawk will come back, and they'll do that shuttle, you know, type of movement here. So here's the other one, lowering down another member of the military here to grab the next astronaut and bring him up.
Well, that should go, you know, it's pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
Because it's not that far.
No.
The distance from the front porch to the ship that's, what, it's like 3,000 yards?
Yeah, 3,000 yards. It should be a quick, you know, 2-minute flight there, unload, 2-minute flight back. And remember, when they get to the ship, they don't have to hoist them back down. They can just touch down on the ship. The guy can stand up and walk out of the helicopter and jump back up and go. So it won't be as much of a mission, if you will, to get them off.
That would be something to see. I'm not sure if we're privy to that, to them actually getting on the ship.
I was hoping to see it. I wonder
getting unharnessed.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe if the last one they'll follow it, you know, back over, but we'll see.
The harness vest.
There's the second astronaut.
Yeah.
And here we go. Second astronaut now off the front porch, getting hoisted into the second helicopter.
Well, then we should see the other chopper coming back soon.
Yep. Hopefully.
Hover just a distance away to give room for the first helicopter to come back and pick up the third astronaut.
It looks like here it comes. I think I see the rotor wash at the top of the screen. Yep.
There it is.
As we wait for that helicopter to come back, make its way back around, just want to mention that the President of the United States called our NASA administrator today while he was on the ship, just minutes after we interviewed him live on our coverage, and congratulated him and NASA on this history-making moment tonight. Helicopter 1 again hovering 40 feet over the front porch. We will soon see another recovery specialist getting lowered onto the front porch.
Everybody has their mission. Everybody is trained to do something particularly.
And the recovery team determined
everyone's got their job and their spot.
Yeah. Helicopter flight back to the ship here.
There we go.
Would be safer, faster, and more comfortable for our crew, who just completed a 10-day mission around the moon.
All right, that's 3 out of 4.
Third astronaut in the air, getting hoisted quickly back into the first helicopter now.
It should be any minute now that they'll be returning.
That first helicopter now on its way back to the ship here. We will soon see it land in just a few minutes. Again, all this action happening just 3,000 yards away from us, so a very quick flight back to the flight deck. And now the only person left on the front porch, Commander Reed Wiseman.
Commander, last out of the capsule, last off the front porch.
Last off the front porch.
Second helicopter now making its way back over to the front porch.
I imagine the Canadians are watching this as well.
Very proud of them, yeah.
Right? This Canadian astronaut took part in this mission.
Yeah.
Making its final approach here.
What a day for these guys. For these astronauts.
I did not time exactly when they started, when they left.
When they got out of the capsule?
No, not when they got out of the capsule. I mean, the initial, well, they splashed down at 5:07. It was a 14-minute window, was it not?
Yes, and let me see.
Yep, that's the last astronaut. That's, of course, the
last astronaut,
Reed Wiseman.
Commander Reed Wiseman. Now off the front porch and almost into the second helicopter. Both now on their way back to the ship where we are, the USS John P. Murtha, just west of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean.
And by my count, Pat, 5:07:57.
Wow.
Right? I mean, could not be more precise than that.
No question.
It looks like we're going to get to watch them go back to the ship.
Exciting to see our 4 crew members minutes away from landing on the flight deck here on the recovery ship. 550 people on this ship. Excited, ready, anxious, looking forward to welcoming this crew aboard. Watching them now with our own eyes. Close to the ship here. Hearing them begin to hover on the flight deck, which is just across from us, here on the bow. The first helicopter coming in. And wheels down. Wheels down of the first helicopter carrying 2 of our Artemis II crew. Pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook. Kilo 1 on deck reported on the recovery loop. Again, the mission audio loops that the recovery team are using here to communicate with one another. And an announcement just made on the ship, integrity incoming.
What
2
a
more
shot.
helicopters on their way to the flight deck, one carrying the crew, the other, one of our imagery helicopters. Again, kudos to our imagery and aerial teams for giving us these beautiful views of history in the making.
Mike, I wonder what they're going to have for dinner. I mean, they've been having freeze-dried meals.
Right.
Soon to be sunset here.
The last 10 days.
So hopefully the U.S. Navy's got a steak or something for them.
Yeah. Which I imagine, you know, even their bodies, they have to be reacclimated, right? Back to when they're here on Earth. And
probably have a little bit of a lighter meal to get readjusted.
In our atmosphere.
Yeah.
Boy, that ship is a beauty.
Yeah. that nice utility ship with that big open deck on the back to be able to land the helicopters. And here comes the second helicopter carrying the other two crew members. Pat, we were kind of talking about it. They pick up one, get out of the way. The other one comes out, get out of the way, and back and forth. So this is the first time that both helicopters have landed back on the ship with all 4 crew, 2 in each of the helicopters.
And then the capsule integrity will be retrieved.
Right. Once they get all these guys up.
And eventually flown, I believe, to Kennedy Space Center?
I think so. I meant to look for that. Let's see.
We now have all 4 Artemis II crew members on the USS John P. Murtha. I'm sure they're happy to be out of the water and on this recovery ship with, again, 550 people on board, ready to welcome them home. But first, as we've been saying throughout the broadcast, just making sure the crew feel good. We reported that they were feeling good when they were in Orion, but those were just initial, quick, verbal assessments of how they're feeling. Their destination tonight, the medical bay here on the ship. Right
Love to see one of them walk off.
We power down the helicopters here.
And maybe they've determined they're able to do that, Mike, because I don't see any wheelchairs or, that they would have to be, that they couldn't move on their own or couldn't walk on their own.
Right, depending on how, their body reacclimates to gravity.
So that's a perfect mission. And we're so happy that you were able to join us. I hope it was exciting for you as it was for us here in the studio. And of course, all over Southern California, and I imagine around the world. Inside Edition is coming up shortly. We'll see you back here for our news at 11 p.m.